Let's just say you absolutely despise running. Every time you go to put in those kilometers on the pavement, your body is hurting. And you want that world champ level cardio, but without the road work, you're just not able to get there. Today we're going to talk about 5 alternatives that I have used when I'm injured and I can't run that will get your cardio to that top level without heading out and pounding the pavement. I'm going to be super upfront with you guys at the beginning of this episode. I like running, and I would advise that everybody out there who is looking to up their cardio, whether it's just for the purpose of doing sparring rounds in the gym or you're actually wanting to fight, I would 100% advise you to fight through the pain, unless it's actual damaging body pain, but fight through the initial cardio pain of maybe not being in great shape and go and do the road work. But there are some times when we just can't do it because of injuries. Now, running for me doesn't usually lead to long-term injuries, but for some people it does. And you absolutely need alternatives to putting in the road work, because there are some people who will say you can just get by with doing really hard bag work, pad work, hard sparring rounds. And yes, that will get you in good shape, but the cross training is there for a reason. It's there to push you in a way your body is not used to. So I firmly believe that cross training is a must. And as we go through these 5 exercises, which I have used today as an alternative to running, I'm going to make sure I give you an example of a routine, so that when you actually go and do this, if you need to, you're not going, oh, I don't really know what to do, I'm just going to make it up on my own. And then you go through the motions and you're going, that was so much easier than running. I'm going to make sure you understand what you should actually be doing. So let's start off and let's talk about workout number 1 as an alternative to putting in the road work. And that is swimming. Swimming is so hard. It is one of those exercises that I could be in super prime shape doing the kickboxing, doing the running, and then I go to the pool and I get absolutely dominated by doing those laps back and forward. But what we need to recognize with swimming is if you do a slow, a lot of breaststroke, like an hour of breaststroke, that's not fight-ready cardio, so we need the correct routine. And something else to keep in mind about swimming, which is actually very good in my opinion, is not getting air when you need it. You do your stroke, your stroke, your stroke, you breathe. Stroke, 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 breathe. You learn to control that inhale and exhale. And sometimes you get that panic where you want to breathe, but you have to fight through because you don't want to be going breathe, 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 because your technique just goes way down. So in terms of swimming, what I will normally do is I will go there and I'll do whatever I'm going to for a 10-minute warm-up. It might just be some slow breaststroke. I might grab a little board and just focus on flutter kicks, and I'll just do 10 minutes. Very similar to going to the track and just doing 3 or 4 laps of a warm-up jog, just to get my body going, maybe jump out after that, do a quick little stretch, and then I get into the pool and I do a couple warm-ups where maybe from one side of the pool to the other, I'll kind of go at like 50%. Then I'll take a little rest, and then on the way back, I'll go 60%, then on the way back, 70, and then 80. And then by the time I finish that, I've already probably been going for about 15, 20 minutes in total, and I'm warmed up and I'm ready to go. Now, just sprinting back and forward non-stop, doing laps like that is not very fight ready. That's not how the fight goes. We need to have moments where you're so tired that you absolutely need your break. So what I will do is I'll usually start off and I will do a sprint to the opposite side of the pool as fast as possible. I'll do 30-second recovery time and sprint back. 30-second recovery time. I will do that back and forward 10 times, so I'm recreating the sprint that I normally do when I do my running routine, and then the jog, which is about a 30-second break, the sprint, the jog. I don't really have any way in the pool that I can simulate slow jog because there's other people there and you're usually in the fast lane and you can't really just go slow. So I just take a 30-second break. Once I go through that routine, then I go to something a little bit more endurance-based, something like 20 laps, fairly fast-paced, constantly feeling at the edge of wanting to stop, but not needing to. And then at the very end, I'll grab a board and I'll focus on full power flutter kicks or full power arm only swims. This is just sort of the end of routine. So that's my example of what you should do if you're heading to the pool. Our next alternative to running is the assault bike. The assault bike is absolutely brutal. It is one of the things that scares me the most. If you are unfamiliar with the assault bike, it is basically a stationary bike that is wind resistant. So there's no power. You just start pumping your arms. You're holding on to some handles as you use your feet and you pedal. And the two of them together is absolutely disgusting. The harder you push, the more resistance there is. Now again, very similar to what I just said about swimming, we don't want this long, consistent pace. We want up and down, up and down. And somebody who was very, very good at CrossFit in town gave me a wonderful routine, which I'm going to share with you guys right now. But remember, first, start off, maybe 10-minute warm up on the bike. And then once you get past that, you can do a couple higher interval sprints where you take a little break in between. But getting to the difficult part, if you've been on an assault bike, you know there are calories. The speed you go indicates how many calories you're going to burn. So what you try and do is within 1 minute, you burn 10 calories as fast as possible. In my experience on an assault bike, a Rogue assault bike, it takes about 20-25 seconds, depending on how tired I am. I blast as hard as I can, I get those 10 calories done, and then I slowly pedal and push with my arms for the remaining time left in the minute. As soon as the second minute starts, I go to my second set of sprints. Start off 20-25 seconds, and then I slow down for the remainder of that second minute. And I go all the way to 10 minutes. Let me tell you, when you hit 8, 9, and 10, your legs, your arms, your cardio is absolutely blasted. By the time I finish that, I take a little break. And then at the end, again, I do something a little longer, like how many calories can I burn in 10 minutes? Just a non-stop pace where I'm staying consistent. After that, in all honesty, I've probably been on the bike for 30, 40 minutes. I don't have much left. I feel like everything's done and I'm basically needing to stretch and go home and relax. That's all you need on the Rogue assault bike. Next up, we are talking about implementing burpees into some sort of routine, some sort of circuit. Burpees, in my experience, are one of the hardest exercises and one of the things that gets your heart rate really high while burning down your legs, just like running. So if I wanted to do something where I was avoiding running, but I'm still willing to, shoot my legs out, get my chest to the ground, get in that squat position, jump up, if I'm willing to do all of that, I will put together some sort of circuit, probably that involves striking, because if we can go from striking to some sort of cross-training exercise, that is fantastic, because when you return to striking, you have that enormous amount of fatigue. So maybe I would do something like on the bag for 30 seconds, I'm gonna blast in round kicks. Hard single round kicks, maybe double up occasionally. Then when the timer sounds, I'm going to go 30 seconds of burpees. And then I'm going to go back to kicking the bag, 30 seconds of burpees. I'm going to do this for 3-minute rounds. And then I'll take my 30-second break or my minute break, and then I'll continue. Maybe next round, instead of doing round kicks, I'll do a fast-paced boxing and then go to the burpees. Basically making a circuit where you alternate between bag work or pad work and burpees. This will absolutely destroy your cardio. I've only done this 3 or 4 times in my whole career, because usually when I'm doing burpees, I'm doing them away from striking. It's completely separate. My striking, my training, my kickboxing is over here, and my cross training is over here. They're done at different times of the day. But I've had those few times where I've combined them together, and let me tell you, you're huffing and puffing and breathing so hard to recover the energy, and that lactic acid, that burn in your legs, just goes way up. Fantastic way to get your heart rate up and just be creative with some training, which no other coach is going to give you. From here, we're going to move in to one of my least favorite drills. It's fast, it's mean, and it is something you'll hardly see anybody do, but the results, oh my gosh, it's almost the same, or almost as difficult, if not more, no, not more, but almost as difficult as doing 400-meter sprints max speed. And we are talking about getting on the elliptical. The elliptical, yes. That stupid thing that you see at the gym that a lot of times girls are on for like 90 minutes and they're and their feet are swooping back and forward, you might look at that and go, that's like, it's so dumb. Why would anybody get on that? Why are you doing 90 minutes? Just get in there and do your workout for real. You see these girls on them and they don't sweat in 90 minutes. I'm looking going, But the elliptical can be disgusting if you utilize it right. I have been putting the elliptical in as basically a test if my cardio is good enough for probably the last 15 years. And I hate going and doing it. So my routine is very simple. When you are on the elliptical, there's a dashboard or a screen. And on that screen, there's a bunch of little dots that basically form a track. And when you start on the elliptical, it goes no dots. And then about every 5-6 seconds, 10 seconds, depending on your speed, another dot gets added. 2 dots, 3 dots, 4. And when you start making your way around the track and you're coming to the end, the whole screen is lit up with a bunch of dots. I basically go, that is the equivalent to going around the track once when I'm doing my runs at the field. What I do is I get on, after I've done my warm-up, after I've done my warm-up sprints, I go and I do 3 full sprints around as fast as you can. Now, each elliptical is a little bit different. Some of them take, 90 seconds to get around. Some of them take more like 60 seconds if you absolutely crank it. But the trick is the resistance. You can adjust resistance. So I put the resistance up to something hard, something like a 10 to 12, where if you're trying to go slow, you're like this. But when you start trying to pump fast, then you can kind of get up to this pace. I go as fast as I can around and I take a 1-minute break. I'm not lying. That 1-minute break is not enough. When you get back on for your second round, your legs are still burning, you're still sucking in air, trying to recover. The second one is hard. The third one is disgusting. I'm going to tell you guys a quick story about one of my training buddies trying this drill. When I went to Glory 13 in Japan, he came along with me. He was training for his own fight. He was about a month away. I told him if he's coming, he has to train while he was there, but I don't think he really did. Then when we came back, I had him do the elliptical drill. Round number 1, he crushed it. So hard, so fast. Round number 2, he slowed down. Let's say his speed was 60 seconds. He slowed down to something like 1:40. Round number 3, he had to stop. He could not walk down the flight of stairs to get to the lower level of the gym. My buddy and I had to have his arms around our shoulders and we literally had to carry him down because his legs would not work. That is how hard this drill can be if you're not in prime shape. Try it out. You will not believe the level of difficulty. And the final cross-training drill that I'm going to give you guys today that actually works very well to replace running is CrossFit. Now, I am not a big CrossFit fan. Like, I'm not going to say go to the gym and lift a bunch of weights and, hurt yourself, because I find a lot of the things look like if you're not an expert. If you're an expert, you're probably fine. But if you're not an expert at weightlifting, you're probably going to hurt yourself very quickly. But there are many CrossFit drills or CrossFit exercises or routines where the weights are very low or just body weight, where it is hard. For example, you can look this up right now. Just go CrossFit Filthy 50 routine. Filthy like dirty, 50 the number. I guess you guys are that way, yeah, 50. Filthy 50. This is basically 10 different exercises. You do 50 of each for max speed. I do this some days when I wake up and I'm going, oh, something hurts and I can't run, or I just really don't want to run today, because I know getting this drill done in the max speed possible, you're pushing and pushing and pushing as hard as you can. It takes me about 18 minutes when I'm in good shape. And it's basically like 50 burpees, 50 double unders. I think there's something with push-ups. There's something with a chin-up bar. So hard. If you research or you just look at all the different CrossFit drills, you just find the ones that eliminate the really heavy weightlifting, find the ones that look more cardio-based, and I guarantee you there are some really difficult ones out there where you don't have to lift heavy, but you also don't have to run, that will get your cardio fight ready. Now again, these 5 exercises that I gave you today, I would not replace them for running unless I could not run. And that happens sometimes to me. So, or you just hate running. But running for me is my go-to cross-training method. If somebody said to me, you had to lose running, out of your training, I would be absolutely gutted. It is something which I really, really rely on now to get my cardio up. But again, the routines I gave you today are good substitutes if you can't hit the road. And that's everything I want to share with everybody out there today, all the subscribers, everybody who comes to my channel to learn. I appreciate everybody tuning in for this episode. I hope you took away some good information. If you enjoyed the episode, please give it a like. If you haven't already, join the channel, get subscribed. As always, guys, train hard, and I will see you back here soon for another episode.